Oh, Scott.
Hey Chris, how you doing?
I'm good, man.
My surname namesake, two Davises in the room together. That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing.
Yeah,
Congratulations on the film.
Thanks, brother.
There's so much to enjoy about this film, not least your performance. Tell me about the first kind of meeting in terms of someone saying to you, "Hey, do you fancy playing George Foreman in a film?" Because it's not a small task to bring this legendary man to the screen.
Well, when I got it, it was untitled, the
Ah,
audition, right? And then you start reading the script, and you're like, this guy's name is George. Oh, this guy's a fighter. It's like, wait a minute, is this about George Foreman? So you start to go through your audition process. But I auditioned quite a bit for a couple of months actually, and when I got the call that I got the job, you know, I was excited for a split second, and then it was like, oh crap, I I gotta tell this story. Oh man, everybody knows this guy. Oh man, there's so much work to do. So I felt immediately the responsibility of telling this story, and I did want to do it justice, and I didn't want to cut any corners on it. So immediately I knew how far I wanted to go. I didn't know how far it would push me, but I knew that I wanted to go the distance.
How much of a challenge is it when you have to tackle playing a real person? Because obviously it's a character and you're an actor and you want to do your job, but there's an added responsibility when you're playing someone who is not only iconic but has done so much in their life. So did you embrace that challenge, or did you find, like you say at the beginning, you were kind of like, this is a lot.
Well, I did embrace it. I mean, that's what you go through the audition process, but once I got the job, then it sunk in that that was the responsibility. So that's what I mean. Like pretty rather immediately, I knew what the task was. I knew the responsibility. I knew that I had to be precious with it. That I didn't want to. You could mess this up. Everyone knows him from some point in his life, in his career, in his many careers. So this is easy to ruin if you're not focused. So I didn't want to be unfocused. I didn't want to not exhaust every single possible um, way of learning about Mr. Foreman and trying to emulate that as I could, because he's so iconic, So I took it very serious from the door.
Did you get a chance to meet him? Because I know when some people play real life people, they sometimes almost don't want to meet the real person because it then kind of crystallizes and adds a bit more pressure and all that kind of stuff. But were you keen to maybe before you started, or at least during the process, to meet him and just to have that experience?
I thought that it was key
Mm.
because Mr. Foreman's the story that we were telling, you couldn't find this individual on an interview. You couldn't. So I had to meet him to really understand who, or some part of who he is, you know, and to talk more about him, about who he was, you know. So it was key for me. I wanted to make sure that that happened. I did not have any problems with meeting him because, sure, we can do the film for the fans, and the fans can be like, oh, I remember that fight. Oh, I know those punches, or I know that smile in the commercial. But also, his family has to watch this,
Yeah.
and they have to feel like it's authenticated. You understand? So it was important that I met him, that I met some of his family.
Tell me about the fighting, because George, your wonderful director, was telling me about the fact that there's some real boxing in there. Which when I watched it, I did want to ask him and say, I feel like those some of these punches were not scripted. There's some real boxing going on. Tell me about being in the ring and doing that side of it, because again, it's a big part of his life. But also, you have to do these things. You have to essentially become a boxer yourself in order to play the great homage to George and his history.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I never had any formal boxing training before starting this film. So being in the ring like that and recreating some of these moments, uh, it was special to me because, I had a beautiful fight team of a group of men who had a lot of fight experience and, trusted me in the ring, and I trusted them too. So, yeah, there were moments where it got heated in there, and we weren't trying to hurt each other. We had a system in place, right? And we were doing our best to recreate the fights to the T. So we weren't going off script with that. But when it came to the power indicators, when it came to the impact, right? The punch impact, we all wanted this to be authentic and real. So we just we started throwing smoke, and there were a lot of moments where, you know, George Tillman wanted some specific punches to be seen, and you know, I got a lot of that to my face, which surprisingly, I never got a black eye or a swollen face or a busted lip.
I wonder if anyone else who's done a boxing film can say that, because I feel like a lot of people who have done boxing films probably did get a black eye. So I think that's a nice
No,
badge of
really,
honor to have.
to my surprise. I mean, because I got hit hard, man. You know, quite a bit. I was a little out of it one of those days, you know. But it's to my surprise, you know, because these are also some big guys. You know, these aren't small guys. These aren't untalented fighters. Some of them are pro fighters, you know. And we're in there dropping bombs on each other. We're in there throwing sharp one jabs and sharp two crosses on people, you know. So gained a lot of respect for not just the people that I was doing that with, but I also gained a deeper respect for the fight game by being in the ring, by gloving up, by sparring, you know, before we even got to filming, by doing the fight training. You know, my coach Dale Foster said, you know, we're going to treat this like a fight camp, like you're training for the heavyweight title fight. We're not going to treat it like we're training for a movie, right? So being in there gave me so much more respect for what Mr. Foreman had to go through and what all fighters, you know, boxing or otherwise, sacrifice when they're in there doing that, you know, so much respect.
Well, Chris, your performance in this is fantastic. So congratulations again. I hope the film goes really well for you, and thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey, you guys!
Hey!